Bluetooth disconnected. Bluetooth pairing.
We are going to start with a panel discussion, but first we shall introduce our panelists. We are only introducing two panelists, but we're not here with us. They will be my co-host shall introduce them. As you are being introduced, please take your place on the stage.
Hello, lovely ladies. I can't hear everyone. Hi, lovely ladies. That's more like it. I trust that we're all having a great time so far. Um, speaking from all the youth, we really learned a lot in our sessions, and I'm sure that you beautiful women learned a lot as well, and that there's a lot you can take home today. So I'm just here to introduce our two
Bluetooth connected.
panelists. We introduced them formally inside, but first, the first panelist I'm going to introduce is Miss Adetola. Round of applause, round of applause. Adetola Bakinsi is a dynamic tech leader, award-winning poet, and international speaker. As founder of Meli Zekaya Services, she empowers businesses and individuals through digital transformation, leadership, mentoring, and purposeful innovation. She's a survivor of GBV and a single mother to two beautiful children. Adetola uses her voice and platform to drive healing, empowerment, and action, especially among women and youth. And as for her awards and recognitions, she was a 2025 Business Tech Leader, Wired for Women, South Africa. She was 2024 Business Transformation Leader in Lagos. 2023 and 2018 Outstanding Nigerian Female Achievement, South Africa. 2019 Top 3 Nigerian Female Tech Achievers, South Africa. And last but not least, she's an international spoken word award winner in London, Lagos, South Africa, and Nigeria. Can we just give another round of applause for her? Next up, I'm going to call our very own Dr. Tumelo Chaka. Can we just give a round of applause as he takes the stage? Dr. Tumelo Chaka is recognized as an inspirational, engaging, and award-winning consumer behavior authority on building, marketing, and growth strategies across Africa. Dubbed amongst the most respected and sought-after consumer experts in the country by Tebe Ifelafeng in his bestseller, The Traveler. He is a seasoned commercial and consumer behavior strategist. Tumelo Chaka is a member of Africa CMO Council Advisory Board, Caltrain Advisory Board, and speaker at the Advertising Week in New York. He's a former executive at Showmax, looking after agency partnerships across Africa. Tumelo Chaka brings an extension, experience in retail, financial services, and media, focusing on platform businesses. And lastly, most importantly, he is so passionate about empowering the youth. I hope you enjoy the panel discussion. Oh, how can I forget? Okay, how can I forget my very own manufacturer, my father? Can we welcome to the stage Pastor Mr. Toyin Olabi? Can we give him a round of applause as he takes the stage? A very fashionable, oldish young man. What can I say about him? Like I said inside, he's a very dedicated man of God. With whatever challenges he may be facing, he always finds a way to find middle ground and to empower everyone around him. Despite his, age, he's always able to bring himself down a notch just to engage with the younger generation and try to assist and help those who are in need. And lastly,
I'm going to introduce someone very special to me. Her name is Miss Grady Mbono. Can we give her a round of applause as she takes the stage? She is a communications officer at the African Energy Chamber. She's basically evidence of young people taking up spaces in the industry. So I'm not going to introduce myself, but anyway. Hi, my name is Timile Ovolavi, and I am the fourth panel discussion. Your panelist. I'm the fourth panelist, and I really hope that you enjoy this panel discussion.
All right. How was that, my co-host? Listen, we, the dinosaurs, need to keep up. We need to keep up. So today we thought we should involve the youth. And we thought we should also have a panel discussion. And with this panel discussion, it's also going to be driven from the topic or the theme for the conference, which is Rise Above, Empowering the Future. So when we look at this, this is what I put together. So to make sure that everybody is in sync and that when they ask questions and they answer, you know where that is coming from. With the pressure of the world today, the need for jobs, living a comfortable, good life. Now with this, good life can mean anything to different people. Self-pressure from social media, we spoke about it earlier. Our younger generation is at the heart of it. Now, because it's a women's conference, it's not just at the heart of it for both the girls and the boys. It affects both of them. Through those felt more with the girls, we need to have real, hard, honest conversations about the disconnect that is there between our youth and the elders. When we talk about the elders, we're talking about generations before them, which is i.e. parents, family, and elders. So with this generation, and it still happens today, if your parents bring people home, automatically they become family. More and more girls here in South Africa are falling prey, willing and unwilling, to life of sugar daddies, night jobs, executive escorts. Now somebody's going to ask, what is executive escort? Our children are at campus, university, colleges. When they get there, there are people that are scouting them, approaching them. You know, like the way you're a scout, you approach someone who's playing a sport because you've seen the talent. Because of their beauty and their brains, they are brought into a space where they are now used to escort people at high level. So your CEOs, your MDs, your financial advisors, etc. Then they dress the way you see them on stage. They're beautiful. They leave home. There's nothing different about it. But you don't know that when she leaves your house, she goes to a certain house. She's then with these top people. So they are called executive escorts, etc. And the other thing that happens with these ones, because they're going out with sugar daddies, and because our kids are so vulnerable, when they hit an age of 35, the sugar daddies move on to the younger ones. They become old and useless. So that's what's happening out there. So today, as you can see on our stage, we've got 5 panelists. So the females represent the age between 26 to 45, and the gentlemen represent the age between, we'll say 42 to 60, somewhere there, in terms of what they are going to be answering today. These young girls feel unheard by family, parents, people that come into the home spaces, etc., and are being given careers that their parents dreamt of having for themselves, but they want their kids to have it. So there's that disconnect. And then the parents want more from their children without listening to what the kids are going through. So then, and what the younger generation, the youth, is hearing from the parents are things like, we were raised by our parents, your grandparents, and how we were raised, that a child was not heard. A child was what? Seen. And sometimes they are also told,
We grew up, you see the way we are, because we were brought up by a community. In our days, that's how I was brought up. I lived in a street where every parent knew each other. It was a long street, there were about 10 houses. So every parent knew each other. What time they got together, I don't know. They didn't get together, but they knew each other. So every household knew a child's timetable, what time you were supposed to be at school, and what time you're supposed to be studying. So if you are found doing naughty things, the mother from next door would just come and pull your ears so hard, and you better not cry. And they'll tell you to go home. By the time your mother is coming back, if she works, or wherever she had gone, she's coming back, you just see your father driving in, your mother is not in the car. Then your father says, go and get your mother's handbag. Then the two of them are at the gate. By the time your mother is coming in, she will not ask questions. You will be beaten so badly. Afterwards, then you are told, can you explain? What did you do today? That's how communities brought us up. So the life has changed. But we are saying as parents, there are certain things we understand that things have changed, but certain things should stay as they are. So 3 facts. Youth unemployment between ages 15 to 34. Staggering 62.4% of these are under 24 to 26. 46% overall is between 15 to 34 years old unemployment. And this is for the boys' side. Sex work. An estimated 131,000 to 182,000 sex workers operate in South Africa, representing 0.76% to 1% of adult females. Job disconnection. In Q1 of 2025, 48.1% of women aged 15 to 34 are neither in employment, education, nor training, versus 42.2% of their male counterparts. So based on this is what we're going to be discussing today. So to our panelists, thank you very much for making the time. You look absolutely amazing. You look great. The men are, I will quote Tammy's words, the men are not young, but they look young. It's tough. Like I always say nowadays, women, being old is your choice. Do not blame it on the kids that you have. It is you. I mean, look at the men on stage. I'll end there. Question 1, I'll give it to you, Tammy. So we're going to be, we don't have microphones, but I'll leave the mic with you, then I will just scream and hope that everybody hears me. Tammy, at your age, Timmy, at your age, many girls feel under pressure to live soft or appear successful on social media. What pressure have you felt, and what do you think young girls really need from society to survive with dignity?
Thank you very much for that question. I think I'll start off by explaining how this soft life trend started. So it actually started off as something very positive. It started off as a movement for girl bosses. For girl bosses who felt burnt out, and it was a movement to encourage them to focus on loving themselves, focus on finding a balance between work life and your well-being. So it was something very positive. It encouraged, taking care of yourself, loving yourself more. There was something called self-care weekends. That was the soft girl life. Until along the line, I don't know where the disconnect started, but as soon as it got on social media, people started relating soft life with appearances, with how you look, the type of makeup you have on. If your lashes are the fox lashes, the cat eye, if you have an expensive bag, now you're living soft. So it was no longer about well-being, taking care of yourself while maintaining your girl boss lifestyle, while still working hard. And people started to become sort of an entitlement. People thought they had to live this soft life because they saw people living it online. And a lot of females became very gullible about this soft life trend. So I'm not really sure where the disconnect came, but I think it started with social media because we forget that what we see is not the truth. A lot of people, there's this need to show that you are doing better than you actually really are. That you are flourishing while you are actually struggling to survive behind closed doors. And I think one way I've also, fallen for this soft life trend at some point. When I wanted to start when I started my fashion, my clothing line, I would see a lot of women, before I started, I would see a lot of females who I looked up to in the fashion industry. And, they had these huge, successful clothing line businesses. And I would always tell myself that I want to get there one day. So I pushed, I worked so hard. God, gave me the grace to constantly be creative, and I launched my clothing line. And there was a lot that happened in between. And at some point, I felt really demotivated. I felt like I was not doing enough because I was seeing these businesses flourish. I felt like my business was missing something, forgetting that they actually followed a journey before they got to that stage. So what they're showing us is, their success stories, but they're not showing you the obstacles they had to pass through. They're not showing you how difficult it was to get there. And I think we forget that. People only show you what they want you to see. And I think we're quick to take that and believe it and use it to judge our lives. So I think one thing I'm still trying to learn to do is understand that each individual has his or her own journey in life. What takes you 2 years to achieve can take me 2 months, and vice versa. And so I've learned to not put so much pressure on myself. So I think what advice I'm going to give to the younger generation is that you shouldn't be so gullible. Social media is not all there is to life. What you see is not the truth. You are just seeing the flashy life. You're not seeing the hard work, or you're not seeing the inappropriate things done behind closed doors. So it's not something you should focus on. Your end goal as a person and your purpose, and that is what should motivate you, not the soft life trend, as we like to call it.
Okay. I hope you can hear me. You can? Great. So my next question will go to Gabby. You probably had to choose between survival and business at some point. Or one or two, career progression. What do you wish your parents or elders had asked or understood about your business? What would you want your parents and the elders in your life to have talked and asked you about this experience that you went through and you're going through?
Very tough question. Thank you so much. So, as Timmy said, I am a communications officer and media liaison for the African Energy Chamber. I have been working there for about 2 years, but obviously, everybody has a journey, or as I like to say, walk of life, right? I double majored in public administration and management and international relations, and before that, I actually wanted to be an actress. But my dad said, I'm not paying for that. so, I've had to walk through life. So one thing that I really wanted my parents or the people in my life to ask me is, are you okay? But mean it. There seems to be an oppression Olympics when you speak to your parents, no offense. But there is always, oh mom, I'm feeling okay, but this is what I'm going through. Oh, you think you're going through that? This is what I went through, And it's very difficult to have an open conversation, especially with strong-minded people, especially with strong-minded individuals. Well, my parents. My parents are very tough. They're very traditionalist. My dad is a traditionalist. My mom is a traditionalist. However, one thing they always stressed was education. And that has brought me to where I am today. I would have wanted or loved a, are you okay? What can we do to make it better? I am the firstborn girl of 3 kids, 2 boys, 1 girl. That's my little brother right there. He's the youngest. And unfortunately, as a firstborn girl, you are seen as a deputy parent. Your brothers must look up to you and you need to advise your brothers. And I wish that, as parents, we need to see our daughters as humans as well, kids as well. I'm the oldest, but I'm still your daughter. I still want to have a conversation with you. I still want a safe space and to say, I've had such a hard day, and actually have my mom listen and my dad listen and comfort me. When my brothers make a mistake, it's not my fault. It's not my fault my brother got his nose pierced, It's not him, it's the middle child. He got his nose pierced and my mom called and she said, you didn't advise him. What is he doing? Now we must leave him do whatever he wants. And I'm confused. He's in a different country. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And she says, I'm going to block him. I said, don't block him. So I should let him do what he wants? No, I'm just saying, have a conversation with him. But when he does good, because he's a football player, he gets all the credit. So, have a safe space. Create a safe space for your daughters, your children, your boys. And, really mean it when you say, are you okay? How can I help you? Thank you.
Okay, mothers. Are we all listening to that, mothers? I will come to you. Please have your questions ready. I'm just opening it up so that they can give us their intro. My second question, before I get to the men, always ladies first. At the Tona, you've heard the 2 young ladies, express themselves. And you being in the middle age of where, the 2 men are going to come and pop in. You're a mother yourself. But with you, you've got 2 adorable young kids and they're grown. My question is, what role do older women need to play today in mentoring, listening, or simply protecting the younger generation? What role should we all play listening to what the 2 ladies have said?
So, first of all, we need to stop being hypocrites. We need to stop being gatekeepers. I think about 9-10 years ago, I used to mentor the teenagers at Redeemed Christian Church. And I heard a lot of things. Oh my God. But the reason why they could relate with me or talk to me was because every time they were speaking to me, I was a 14-year-old then when I talked to them. I'd be a 16-year-old when I talked to them. I always say something. The role that we need to play is to be truthful to ourselves, is to be truthful to our children as well. There's this general saying, you are strong. When a black woman is called strong, just know she's suffering. That's it, you're a strong black woman, and that's what we are bringing up for the girls. You need to stay strong. And it has really affected a lot of younger generations that they cannot go home or go to the older people to ask for advice, so they will ask for advice amongst themselves. And I'll use myself as an example. When I was in high school, I was what was perceived as a baddie. I wasn't. I just read a lot of books. Every woman, a lot of books about sex, yes. I was very curious, so every book that I saw, I picked it. And I started advising people. I wasn't even having sex, but I was advising people about sex. Imagine what I would have done with ChatGPT today. So we need to play the role of authenticity in the lives of our children. Let them see us as a safe space. We need to stop being judgmental. We need to stop comparing
look at your sister, look at your brother. Fortunately for me, I've got two children of the same age, born of the same day, but they are not the same people. So let's stop being gatekeeper. Let's stop being, like my daughter would say, Mommy, stop being a Georgina, which means I'm judgmental. So let's stop being Georginas. Let's just be honest with them that when they make the mistakes that you know that you have made before, let them know I have made that kind of mistake too. Let them know that when people come to me and say certain things, I say, oh, I've done it too before, but it's not good. Let's talk about it. So that would be what I would like to say.
Thank you very much. My next question is to Doctor. So, Doc, I'll put you on the spot here. You've heard what the three women have said. And in my opening discussion, most parents are very naive because the kids go out, they are taught certain things, as Adetola has said, they are learning habits without asking us as their parents. So now, this issue of sugar daddy is there, it's happening. And sometimes our kids are actually dating people that come into our spaces. So, could you please share what's the role of men in helping stop the sugar daddy and this escort culture, which is slowly happening, but it's really at a rampage? Because these men are paying, they're not even paying rands, they're paying dollar. And the kids are coming home with Louis Vuitton, they are dressed a certain way, which you as a parent did not sponsor. What can you say on that one?
Good day, everyone. So, first of all, I want to just, because I'm going to give you the rosy picture. I'm going to give you an example. We live in a gangster state today, as we have learned from June 6, when that General Mkhwanazi went on stage. We know the gangsters by name, but they're not arrested. So, we live in a sugar daddy economy that nobody here is going to change it, first of all. And then the next point I want to make is I worked for FNB and I was executive for eWallet. And eWallet transfers about 35 billion a year. 60% of that would be did analytics, because we wanted to show that, because right now you send an eWallet from an FNB account to a cell number. You don't know who the cell number is. It's just a cell number. So now they put names. When I was there, I was very fair with it. So the moment you put names, you'll see a decline of e-wallet transactions. But 60% of the transactions between an older male, don't say who they are, older male and a younger female. That's the 60% of e-wallet transactions are that. And I feel to be that African men are very generous. There's a dynamic there. So it's a massive, it's a billion rand economy. So for me, in my view, it's as long as the economic tide globally and in the continent is where it is, we are going to have this phenomenon. But what can we do, one man at a time, one woman at a time, one parent cohort at a time, is that how we teach our kids. And there's social media vibes and journeys also makes it harder. Because why would an educated lady like Nandipa Magudumani fall for somebody sitting behind bars? It's money. It's not anything else but a financial transaction. Somebody with proper education doing that. So as long as money is a battering currency and people are looking for some sort of comfort of a better life, this will happen. How do we sort it out and how do we solve our children? As I said with the youth there, shortcuts don't work. And most, if you go to universities now, the ratio in classes, there are more boys than girls in class. Where are the girls? Girls believe that there's a shortcut. That I won't go to school, I'll find a richer old man who will finance me. And what's even worse is mothers are endorsing it. Where a mother will ask you, stay there so that you can get the money and bring a portion home. So where do we start? Where do we end? Where do us as men start and end this thing? I've got 3 daughters and 2 boys. And I find it hard to see why would a man go for a girl as same age as your daughter while you have 2 girls in the home. What do you think is happening to your girls as well? So if we start taking it home and stop making it an issue of self-indulgence of, I'm dealing with my own cravings or my own needs, as you go out, just know somebody is also preying on your 3 girls. And men would say, if I find another man with my daughter, I'll kill them. What do you think the father of the girl you are busy with is thinking? And I think those are things where societal morals have gone to such a decay that we don't think like that anymore. The days are gone where we are fathers and mothers in the same street to everybody, where a neighbor is now an enemy to your child, with whom they're supposed to find solace with or comfort too. So for me, it's a very complex thing, because I don't think there's an immediate solution. Because the same way as there's a corrupter and a corruptee, will the young girls stop wanting to take the money and living the soft life? I don't know. Will the older men stop seeking the vibes of getting these young girls? I don't know, but do you want to be the girl that have things happen to them like they happen in Dubai? I still don't know. So I think it's a long-term societal question that we must collectively ask ourselves. Because the men alone won't stop it, and the girls alone won't stop it. But a collective view of everybody else saying, as a society and a community, we are stopping. That's the only time this thing will stop.
To the other half of this event, Toya, my question to you, you've heard the views of your fellow men, and you've heard the views of the 3 ladies. So I'm wondering, how can we now encourage open conversation? I think you heard from Granny where she said, when you as parents ask a question, it must come from a place of you wanting to know. So how can we encourage open conversations between fathers and daughters? And when I'm talking about conversations, I'm talking about what Doc has just alluded to. How can we do that?
Oh, I think, thank you for that question. My generation, I would say, the generation X. So if you are born from 1965 to 1980, so you are generation X. So, in my generation, while we are growing up, we believe that, we are taught that silence is the response. That don't talk back, you don't ask questions. You just do as you are told to do. You see that now growing up now, I realize in this generation, I realize that keeping quiet can actually do that. You are afraid. Keeping quiet can also be like, you know what, you are scared of something. You don't want to. You are emotionally broken. You don't want to. So I realize that our parents they are providers. They are not communicators. They provide things and they don't communicate to us. They just feel that, okay, I want you to do this. This is what I want you to do, and you don't get questions. Unfortunately, there are still some parents in this generation that are still doing that with their children. So when we are going, how can we stop those talk about stuff life and all those things? How can we do that as a parent? As a parent, we need to be a very good communicator to our children. is what I, I always do as a father. I listen. I listen a lot. A lot of time, even if my wife is saying something, I know that I say no, just let them have their way. They will come. They will still come back. It's not that you don't know what to tell them, but just let it's okay. Let allow you to go and think, then come back. So we are trying a way to control. I don't know, maybe we are afraid or we are shy to talk to our children, or I don't know what is happening to our children, but I think that what we are lacking as a parent is communication. We need to be able to call the girl child and talk to her about whatever. I will remember that when she was grade 9, I took her out for breakfast, and I told her that I know you are a very pretty lady now. You are a pretty young girl now, and I know in your streets of things grade 9. I said no. People, some guys be like, no, I like you. I want to toast you. But I just say, you know what? It's fine, but I just want it's not the right time. So I hope that I say that is not the right time. When is the right time? I will tell you. I told her that, okay, when you get to the university and you're in your first year, second year, if you don't have any boy running after you, I will be worried as a father. Then I know that you have a problem. So I said, oh, but for now, just your ultimate thing is to this study, to do something else, so that all these people after for somebody to sponsor you, should get that uniform, you will come to your grade. So I think we should encourage our fathers, our mothers, to be a very, very good communicator of children. Very, very important.
Okay, so now I'm going to open it up for questions. Any question from anyone to any of them? If you're a mother, you're thinking something, you've got two young ladies here. Any questions?
Sorry, I don't really have a question, it's more of a comment. I don't know if anybody picked up that with your last answer and Brady's answer, there was a connection, but there's obviously a misconnection, because we're Gen X, and we're talking about communicating with our children. And Grady is, I don't even know what she is, but she's definitely not a Gen X, but she was talking about having the communication with her parents and the support. So from both angles, it seems that the want for communication is there, and the question should be, how do we now bridge that gap? Because I don't know if anybody else picked it up, but you actually both spoke about it from two different viewpoints.
With that comment, I'll give it to you, Doc. Maybe you can just help us. I hope you heard. She's saying that they're talking the same thing, but a disconnect.
When Pastor was talking about that, I thought about my own challenges of the communication. I think as parents, I've got 5 kids. And there's this fear of mental health and killing themselves that we're dealing with. My son was cutting himself, wanting to die, writing us notes. And it only happened when he's done things wrong. Now we fear to approach a child now to call them out for what they do. So the communication is a bit hard. They want to be communicated to, but they don't want to communicate back to the parents. I find that to be a gap where I'm not Generation X, but I'm close to X. Maybe I'm X. But it's that gap where now we were raised in a very harsh way, where it was a shambok, and we don't get told why you are a big shambok, people move on. So we try to bridge that gap, but it's that thing now that even one pastor, I think as Rayma said it, we are raising children that lead with manipulation. So in the same communication that is wanted, there is a high degree of manipulation. So how do we manage that?
also have a manipulator. No, we don't have to be. What I was trying to say is, there's this thing of when they say I'm not your friend. It worked for our generation. We were raised with fear. But these days, you have to be their friend. Obviously, there are boundaries. Yes, there are boundaries. My daughter will tell me sometimes, can I call you baby girl? I'm like, yeah. And then she knows when I'm a tiger. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's that thing where you also need to understand what's going on out there. You cannot be ignorant. My mom used to do this thing when I was in varsity. Every night on Friday, around 10, she would call to pray. I didn't know what she was doing. She would call me, she would pray. But the truth is, when she called, I was driving then. We were already in the car ready to go clubbing. So we do, shh, Ami, Jesu. She didn't say anything. Another time, then she said to me, in the morning, you don't have to leave in the middle of the night. And now I'm scared now. She's not even supposed to know that I'm going clubbing, you know. And she said, do you know why I call every Friday night to pray? It's because I know that in university, there's the likelihood that you are going to parties. And so there's no need for you to hide it from me. When the party is over, recline your seat and sleep. Because if you don't hit someone, somebody can hit you. And it saved my life. I know a lot of people that came back in the middle of the night then with convoy, drunk driving, everything. But my mom did something. She made me trust her, which worked for her because I used to tell her a lot of secrets that I was not supposed to tell her. Sometimes I'm saying some stories that my cousins are like, I will have forgotten myself. So it's not about being a 13-year-old or being a 7-year-old. It's knowing that you are talking to a 13-year-old. My son is 8 now, and I think kids mature early these days. You have girls starting their period at 10, you know. He's very confused about his feelings and all of that. And those were the things that our parents didn't take into cognizance. Is it hormonal? You know, this is a teenager now. What they say is she's acting out, she's a rebel. No, her body is going through changes that she doesn't understand, and she's trying to find out who she is now. So when you are talking to a 13-year-old, remember what you were like when you were 13. And I can say one thing for a fact, not every 13-year-old back then sitting here was actually a good girl. Thank you. All right. I think when I say communication, communication are also doing two ways. You can actually be communicating with your children and be judging them. You can also be communicating with them and be connecting to them and be reasoning with them. I know they can always want to have whatever they want to manipulate you to have whatever they want. But I still feel that if you look at the story of the story for Eli in the Bible, he has two sons. He's a very spiritually. He has two sons. I want to believe that he trained his children, right? And therefore, the children, he failed to connect with the children because the children always, children learn from what they see. You don't need to talk to children these days. If you tell your children that no, it's good to get married, what they see you doing with your mother, they will know whether to get married. You don't need to tell them. So a lot of time we say we are communicating with our children, but we are actually judging them. A lot of time we say we are communicating with them, we are not connecting to them. So that why they want to talk, but they want to tell that, well, Daddy, you still want me to do this one? And like she said, there was always a boundary. Eli in the Bible, the spiritual leader refused that failed to connect with the boy. I know maybe you've been trying to stop doing this, God doesn't like it, but there will be a time as a friend you need to put your foot on the ground. I always tell her sometimes, she's engaged to get married. I always tell her, there are some things in life, there are some bad a woman, as a man, there are some values in you that nobody can change. So these are the values that you should know that you have to hold. Whether you are rain is shining, sun is whatever is happening, there are some values that you have to hold. So communication is very key. Let's communicate with them and do judgment. These are the complaints that they are about. Or you know you don't even do this. Communications are actually the best instant for you. If you don't communicate with your children, there is no way you can do better. At the end, whatever legacy people are going to, they're going to give one to another. Destroy this person. So don't let just judge them. Let's communicate with them and also connect with them. When it's time to say, when is the time to say no, you must actually stand at the mother and say, no, this one, you can't do this one.
Thank you so much for making the connection. I actually want to go back to what Doc said, right? I don't know if anyone has ever heard of the criticism sandwich. Yeah? Okay. So, for example, cooking rice, right? You tell your kid to cook rice, they burn the rice. What is the first thing you do as a parent? You shout, right? And that is the disconnect. So a sandwich, it's bread, filling, bread. The bread, encouragement, well done for cooking rice. It's not easy, however, you did it. The toppings inside the bread, that is where you put in your criticism. Well, you didn't really do it properly. You added too much water, right? Then the other bread comes in, but next time, you know what to do that you didn't do. And that's where the disconnect comes in. I studied industrial psychology, and so that's how sometimes I parent my parents when it comes to my siblings, you know? We must not be so quick to criticize. We must also motivate, and part of creating a safe space is being able to voice out your criticism, but also with motivation. Criticism sandwich.
Hi everyone, my name is Kadi. I don't have a question unless someone has something to add. I would just like to make a point. I like using myself as an example. I lost my mom very, very young, so I grew up with my aunt. Lovely person, amazing woman. But what I didn't get was affection. And because she wasn't affectionate, she couldn't communicate with me. So I grew up as someone who doesn't show affection. When I got married, I had to learn to be affectionate. And because I'm affectionate, I can communicate. I can say to you, look, I didn't like this, or I didn't like that. And today I'm a mother. I can give that affection. So I think your generation, respectfully, you're not affectionate towards your kids. So it makes it difficult to say, look, Timmy, I can understand you're young. I can understand you will make mistakes. But you've got to understand that I've been there. You can do it better. I didn't have that. Fortunately, I acknowledge that I didn't have that. I know I can do better for my kids. But I think we should learn to be affectionate first and then learn to communicate.
Anyone else? Okay. As I walk there, I'm just going to make a comment here, and I will give the panelists to say something. That is very difficult for, like you're saying, the generation, how we were raised. Because we don't have time to sugarcoat a mistake. Because that's sugarcoating a mistake. And when now parents start having that conversation, the manipulator, there's always a manipulator in all of us. And if I ask each one of you, you even know which sibling is a manipulator. Each one of you knows. Hang on.
I work in the medical aid industry. So what we're picking up is a lot of young people under 35 that are getting admitted for depression, anxiety. Like for instance, in a month, if there is like 1,000 admissions, 650 or 700 is young people. And I'm asking myself what happened. And I'm asking both the parents and the young people what's going on.
We'll start with our host, and then each one of you please give an answer to that. I think a lot of young girls, a lot of young people, right, these days, actually want to run faster than their shadow. They want to run faster than their shadow because you see that you talk about getting depression, getting all those things. You know, when we're talking to the we talked about I think someone that had a question. That had a question, right? We talked about why is it that you see young guys, young people nowadays, they want to get money. They have a target, you know, before I'm 21, I want to make my 40 million. By the time I'm 25, I want to have my own mansion in the waterfalls, I want to do all those things. So, and if those things are not coming, what happens? Depression. Anxiety will just go, oh, I have a target. There was a time my boy was telling me that, oh, I want to have that. Good boy. Nobody's pressurizing you. I don't know. Nobody's pressurizing you. There is always a time you are born before. You know, there is always a time. Everybody has their own time. That's why the Bible says there is time for everything. And I make an example of the person that owns KFC. Had it when he was 70. And I'm not saying that you are going to get it when you are 70. Because I don't know where you're going to do it from now to 70. What I'm saying is that you see young people getting to depression, getting to a lot of things. Because they are running faster than their shadow. They don't want to go through those processes. You know, when we're talking that Miss Parkinson talk about our process, our journey. Doctor also said same thing. But we don't like what we don't want to look at those processes that those people have gone through. And when those things are not happening, you begin to feel anxiety comes in, depression comes in. You know, I don't think I'm going to make it anymore. You begin to feel a lot of unnecessary stress. But what I'm going to say is that our generation, one of the things that we have learned from our parents is that what we do, you do. And don't run after your child. Don't do any shortcut. Eventually, when you do a shortcut, it's either you are stuck on the end road or you are lost somewhere around whatever you're doing. But I want to advise that, you know what? It's going to happen, but we should encourage our young ones that don't run after your child. There is time for everything. People have purpose. You are not created to this earth to come and be useless. The money you have the money, but do what is right, what you are supposed to do. Don't want to make me know before
I think I'm just going to add to what everyone has said so far. I want to touch on the disconnect when it comes to communication. I love that my dad has mentioned that, you know, we should communicate better. There's a willingness to want to communicate. And when it does happen, I find that parents find it difficult to receive what is coming out of their children's mouths. So, if you, okay, I'm going to give an example. Sorry, Mom. But there was a time I was speaking to my mom about something she did in the past that I was very hurt by. And I was just explaining to her that this is what happened, very politely, respectfully. I don't know what went wrong, but she didn't take it well. at the end of the day, she was offended that I was offended. And I think, yes, it's great to want to communicate with your child, but how do you receive it when they actually come to you? Do you make a big deal out of it? Do you turn the situation around and make it look like they're the problem? Do you try to victimize yourself? This is why I did this, or they just become defensive. This is why I did this, because I went through this. You don't know what I've been doing out there, but I'm explaining to you that this is how I received this reaction. So I think it's very important for us to learn, well, I'm not saying us, or parents, to learn how to receive your parenting, your feedback on parenting with love. To receive it, understand it, and try to learn to do better. I'm not telling you this because I feel like you're a bad parent, but I'm telling you this because I've been hurt by a few things that you may have done along the way. And I think when I had that interaction with my mom, and I've had that same interaction with my dad as well, I started to feel very reluctant to go to them again, because now it's going to become a huge issue. I remember the time I went to my mom, she was so offended, she reported me to my dad. My dad came to my room, and because of peace, he said, go apologize to your mom. So nothing was solved at the end of the day. It was just a back and forth. So I think I just started to be silent. I just kept quiet, because even if I bring my issue, we're not going to sort it out today. Yeah, I'll end up apologizing for being hurt. So yeah, I think we should, parents need to learn to receive their feedback.
To talk about mental, health is not talked about enough. We have a lot of young people depressed. When I was growing up, there was nothing like depression. If you try to kill yourself, no. It was not, when I say there was nothing like depression, I mean our parents didn't believe in it. If you try to kill yourself, you better die, because my mother will kill you. Just don't make the mistake of not dying. Make sure you die. Because when my mother is beating myself, I will kill you today. She tried to kill me many times. But I think that on a more serious note, one of the things that actually causes depression is identity crisis. Who are you first? Who are you? Most people are struggling to be who they are not. They are struggling to conform to the norm, to society, to TikTok, to this. I was in Lagos last year, and there was one lesson that I brought back, that I am a content person. If I was not content, the things that were offered to me were very tempting, but I said no. There were repercussions, but it goes back to, who am I? It's because I know who I am. I know I don't have to do one or two things to be where I would love to be. I know I didn't have to do certain things to get to where I am today. I knew I had to work hard. And there's something that we have now taken out of everything. We've taken God out of schools. We've taken God out of the home, because we don't want to offend. We don't want to offend people. So I tell my children, when they say something, I listen to them and I say, go pray about it. And when I was sick this year and I was admitted, and Timmy, I like what you said when you said receive, how we receive feedback. My daughter said a very powerful prayer, and it speaks to what we do in the house. When she got home that night, she called me on video and she said something. Dear Jesus, my mom really loves you. I want you to pour back the same love into her so she can come back home. So as they say, charity begins at home.
What are we teaching the children? And everything is not kneel down and close your eyes. No. You need to listen. My son once told me he didn't love me. But that was not what he meant. Was I hurt? Yes. It was Mother's Day that year. He drew something for our domestic work at that time, and he didn't draw anything for me. And the natural thing as a single mother should be, after all, I'm working out for you. But I didn't say anything. The sister is very empathetic. She was like, don't be mean. So I called him when he was alone. I said, Ayola, do you love me? He said, yes. I said, how many billion times? He said, 100. I said, what about Chakalaka? What's the name of that word? Because I didn't like her at that time. She said, I love her, Shumba, 1 billion times. I said, why? He said, because she talks to me. Because she bathes me. Because she plays with me. Now I'm busy. I don't have time to bath anybody. I'm not going to lie. I pay somebody to bath you, so they must bath you. That will be the entitlement part as a mother. My son is very quiet, so I always thought